Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited because we are going to be doing a full face of BH Cosmetics. This video is long overdue. I haven't done a full face of BH in over 2 years, so it's time for an updated version. I have quite a few new makeup products, pretty much everything for a full face. I also have some makeup brushes and a beauty sponge from them, so I think it's gonna be a good video. I'm speaking it into existence because I love BH. I've tried several of their products before, and for the most part, I've been super impressed. I think they have really bomb quality. They're affordable, and I mean, like, come on, who doesn't love a brand like that? And over here on this channel, we love affordable makeup. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you're doing well, and it's gonna be a long one. So as always, don't forget to grab a snack, and let's get started. Alrighty, so as always, we're gonna be starting off with the brows first. So I actually have two different brow pencils. So the first one that I have is their HD Studio Pro pencil, and this one is just like a traditional brow pencil. It kind of reminds me of the Anastasia Brow Wiz. So you can see it comes with a spoolie, and then it has a really nice fine tip. And then the other one is the Shade and Define Duo Brow Pencil, and this one is in shade Ebony, which I think might be a little bit too dark. So basically this one comes with like a brow definer side, kind of like the Anastasia one, and then the other side is kind of like the Brow Wiz because it has a really tiny tip. So I really like this concept as well. So I think today I'm going to use the Duo one just because I kind of want to test out the definer side as well. So let's play with this. Hopefully the shade will match. So I'm going to start with the definer side, and I'm just going to follow along with the natural shape of my brows. This is not the easiest thing to work with. It's not being super precise for me. So on the other side, I'm going to use the tinier tip. Ooh. So right off the bat, my first impression, I like this side more than the definer side. I feel like it's a little bit easier to work with, and I like that. So that's good. I'm gonna use their HD brow pencil really quick just to kind of fix this brow a little bit. I think I definitely prefer, yeah, this is nice. This is definitely like the Brow Wiz from Anastasia. So this brow pencil is really good. If I had to choose between one, I would probably just get their Brow Wiz dupe versus the one that's a duo, because personally I don't love the definer side on this. So next up, BH actually didn't have a brow pomade, which I was so upset about because that's what I used to fill in my brows, but that's okay. We're gonna make it work. I'm gonna use this Ultimate Brow Palette. This is from the Studio Pro line that they have. I'm pretty sure almost everything actually is Studio Pro from them. So this looks like this. So you get like cream, kind of like brow waxes here, which I don't use. And then you get your different brow powders. So I am gonna go in with this shade right here, which seems to be really the only one that will match. And I'm just gonna use this angled brush. This is from e.l.f. Actually don't mind the brow powders. Super easy to work with, and it's very, very pigmented. So what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and clean up the brows, and then I'll be right back and we'll jump into the eyes. Okay, so I cleaned up my brows. I also did prime my lids, and now we're gonna jump into eyeshadow, and I'm gonna be using the Daisy Marquez eyeshadow palette. First of all, I think the packaging is really, really cute. I love this like Tiffany blue teal shade, and when you open it up, you can see all the colors, and this mirror actually comes off. It's kind of like a magnet, which I think is pretty cool. It's actually really convenient if you're ever doing your makeup and maybe your winged liner or something and you need a mirror like really, really up close to your face, and then you can just kind of stick it right back on. So the colors in here look beautiful. Today I really want to recreate a look that Daisy did. It's on her Instagram. I think it is stunning, and it's kind of different than what I typically would do, because you guys know I love my warm tones, but a lot of people tell me that they get sick of seeing warm tones. So I'm going to try something different today. I'm going to attempt to recreate this look that she's done, but we'll see how it goes. And also I wanted to mention I'm going to be using a mixture of my regular brushes as well as this brush set. This is the Marble Luxe 10-piece brush set. Look at how beautiful these look. I mean, they look so luxurious, super high quality. I mean, these are like the softest brushes ever. Seriously, they are really, really nice. I mean, the handles feel really, really nice as well. I love the marble on here. I mean, they're just beautiful. So I have tried BH Cosmetics brushes in the past, and I've been super impressed. I think that they're definitely worth trying. So I'm first going to start off with the shade Naked, and I'm just going to be applying that all over my lid. I just really want like a nice clean base and just everything to be one color. And this is a really nice skin tone shade. Then I'm gonna go in with the shade Dulce, which is candy in Spanish. And I'm gonna be taking that on a crease brush. This one is the number 7 Fluffy Blending Brush. These brushes so far are very soft. I haven't washed them yet. I normally wash my brushes before I start using them, but I'm just too anxious and I don't want to delay this video with having to wash the makeup brushes. This package already took almost 2 weeks to get here and I'm just so excited to film, so we don't have time to wait. This is a really, really nice like creamsicle color. Perfect as just like a neutral blending shade. So I'm pretty much gonna take this all over the lid, in the crease. You don't have to be really precise with this color because I'm gonna be using a bunch of other shades in the crease and everything as well. I'm gonna be taking the shade Passion Fruit. It's like a really pretty kind of cranberry shade. I'm just gonna kind of run that also right in the crease. I'm using a white-haired fluffy brush. That's a nice color. I'm like trying to look at the photo. I don't know the exact shades that she used, but this is just gonna be a recreation. It's not gonna be exact. These shades are very pigmented, so I'm literally just dipping in just a little bit and then building it up as I go. Really, really soft and creamy shadows. Love the formula so far. Okay, then I'm gonna take the shade Coco, which is just a deep dark chocolate brown. I'm gonna start gradually building it up and just packing it in the crease area. Wow, this is very, very rich and chocolatey and delicious. Okay, I'm gonna jump into a different brush. I'm gonna pick up a Sigma E25 blending brush. And then I'm gonna take the previous blending brush that I was using and I'm gonna go back into the shade Passion Fruit very lightly. And I'm gonna run that shade again in the crease because I don't wanna lose that color. Wow, this is such a like deep, rich color that it almost looks black. I don't know why, I feel like my hand here is just like security and it helps me blend for some reason. I will say these shades are layering really, really nicely as well. The shimmers on her lid don't look super precise. Like what I mean by that is like it doesn't look like she actually went and like cut her crease or anything, so I'm not gonna be doing that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take, it looks like it's the shade Angelic, and I'm gonna take a flat shader brush. This one is the BH number 10 brush from the Marble set, and I'm gonna dip in here and I'm gonna spray my brush because I always spray my makeup brush because I feel like it just makes the shadow stick better and pop more. Let me make sure that this is like the same color she was using. I think so. It's kind of hard to tell. Oh, this is so pretty. I'm also going to be taking a little bit of the shade Daisy and I'm going to kind of add that right over top. And I should have did this first, but I'm going to also go back and add the Angelic shade. So I'm kind of taking Daisy and Angelic, both of those, and kind of mixing the two to create a different kind of shade. I'm gonna use a different, tinier flat brush. This is actually from their Dot collection. I don't know if this collection from BH is still available. I got it like over 2 years ago, but this flat concealer brush is still one of my favorites. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of the shade Dream, which is like a teal in the palette. And I'm gonna kind of take that right in the inner portion of my lid. It's a little bit more blue than the two shades that I just used, like slightly brighter. I'm also going to be taking that in the inner corner once I'm finished with everything, but for now I'm just going to kind of place that right there. Okay, see, her lid looks a little bit more green. I wonder what shade she used. I wonder if she used the shade Cha-Ching, because that's the only other color that I can think of in the palette that she would have used to really kind of emphasize that center and make it a little bit more green. So that's what I'm going to do. Cha-Ching is like a little bit more of a deeper green. So let's attempt to do this on the other eye. I think I'm gonna do things a little bit different though on this eye. So on this eye over here, I'm gonna actually start off with the shade Daisy, and I'm gonna place that first. Okay, yeah, you definitely need the other color to emphasize it. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna take the shade Angelic, I'm gonna mix it with the shade Cha-Ching. Okay, so those are the two colors kind of mixed without any spray. So spray is definitely needed, but that's the case with, like, I would say 90% of eyeshadows in the makeup world, drugstore, high-end. You need spray because the spray really makes that pop, as you can see. So it's not really a deal breaker for me. That is really, really pretty. I know that I did a teal look in a dupes video like less than a month ago, so I know that it's another teal look, but I just really loved that look that she created. I knew I had to recreate it. And then I'm gonna go back into the shade Dream and add that right in the inner part of the lid. So I'm going to take an angled brush. This one is just a random eyeliner brush. And I'm going to take the shade Matter, which is a black, and I'm going to kind of do some smoky shadow. I don't really want to do this in the crease. I want to do it sort of as if it was eyeliner. Should I do a wing today, like a smoky wing? Yeah, so I just applied my e.l.f. eye tapes like always. A link will be below. If you guys are interested in these, you can get them like at any drugstore. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take, again, that black Matter shade, and I'm gonna kind of do a wing, but just with the shadow today. I wanna keep this very smoky without actually using any liner. I just wanna use all shadow. Okay, I'm gonna use a number 8 brush from the Marble collection. I'm gonna dip into the black just ever so slightly, and I'm gonna just kind of smudge that black out. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop on some lashes. BH did have lashes on their website, but they were just super natural, and I know myself, and I just knew that I wasn't going to be obsessed with them, especially because I knew I wanted to do something a little bit more dramatic. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pop those on, and then we'll move into the skin. All right, so the funniest thing just happened. Actually, it's not so funny, but I'm trying to just be positive about it. I did pop on the lashes. I used the Scandal Lashes in the style Forbidden Fling. I will leave them linked below. I was just recording, well, I thought I was recording the foundation and concealer portion, and I wasn't. Luckily, I didn't do the rest of my makeup without realizing that, so I just wiped it off, and we're gonna do it again. So I'm gonna start off with the Studio Pro Anti-Shine Primer. Just looks like this. I'm pretty sure I've tried a primer from them before. I don't remember if it was this one, but I did try one before, and it is a dupe for the Dr. Brandt Pores No More primer. I'm basically gonna just blend this out where I have larger pores, which is like in my nose and chin area. But then I'm also gonna go in and just kind of blend out the extra product all over the rest of my face, because it is a really nice smoothing primer. And by the way, I know my wings are uneven, but let's just move on from that. So for foundation, I had to actually mix 2 different shades. This comes in 24 different shades on BH's website. This foundation is apparently medium to full coverage, which it is depending on the tools that you use. I guess it worked out that I already use a foundation, because I can kind of give you guys a little bit of a recap of what I just did. So this is their liquid foundation. It's their Naturally Flawless foundation. This has a really nice satin finish, and I love the fact that it comes with a pump. So I'm gonna go in and mix the shade Light Olive and this one, which doesn't have a shade name. I'm gonna just look at my receipt and see what color this one is. I'll leave it down below. So I first went in, and I'm gonna show you, but I went in with their sponge, and I did not like it. It really sheared out the foundation, and it absorbed a lot of the product. So then I went in with a brush. This one is their number 3 brush. I also did not like it. I just felt like this is more so for like powder, not really liquid foundation. So I'm literally just gonna do 2 pumps of the Light Olive shade, and then about a half a pump or so of the tanner color. And then I'm just gonna dot this everywhere. This is a little bit of a thicker formula, but it looks really, really good. I'm just gonna show you guys their sponge. First of all, do you hear that? It is very, very rough on the skin, and it just doesn't give a lot of coverage. So I feel like this absorbs a lot of the product. So I'm gonna use my Wet n Wild beauty sponge, because I want to give these products a fair shot, and this sponge works with literally any foundation. So I'm just gonna blend that in with this, and I'm gonna build this foundation up. I would say this is definitely medium coverage with 1 layer, and then if you build it up, you can get it to be full coverage, which I really like. So I have more on the back of my hand, which I'm gonna use to build up. Do you see how good that looks? I love it. I'm gonna drag it a little bit down my neck just because this isn't like my perfect shade right now. So when you're trying new makeup products, I recommend just using your go-to makeup tools because tools make a huge difference in your makeup routine. So then for concealer, I'm also gonna be mixing two shades. I have the Total Coverage Concealer. This, you guys, this is super full coverage. So I am gonna be mixing the shade 106 and 113, again, just right on the back of my hand. It kind of comes with like one of those lip gloss applicators, which doesn't bother me. And I'm gonna just mix those two. I'm gonna just use my finger, and surprisingly, mixing these two shades creates like a really nice color for me that I feel like isn't too light and it's not like too natural. It's like perfect. Again, I'm gonna use my Wet n Wild sponge. Oh, okay, we're still recording. I was like, is this not recording for the second time? Look at that full coverage, you guys. It reminds me so much of the Huda Beauty concealer, and I really thought this concealer was gonna be a lot thicker because usually concealers that come in tubes like this are super thick and cakey, but it's actually very creamy and it blends like a dream. Like, I am shocked at this coverage. It's incredible. It really is. Like, I love this combo together. So what I am gonna do is take a number 6 brush from their Marble collection. I'm gonna use this just to blend out more precise areas on my face where I applied the concealer. So far, minus that beauty sponge, I would say everything is really, really great so far. Like, I'm really happy with everything. So I'm really, really loving this. I can't wait to see how it's going to wear throughout the day because it is definitely a lot of coverage on my skin, but I'm here for it. I will say also a little bit of the concealer goes a long way. You do not need to use that much, like when you're applying it on the back of your hand or whatever you decide to do, just use a little bit. So they actually don't have a translucent powder, so I'm just gonna use their traditional pressed powder that they have. This is their Studio Pro Matte Finish Pressed Powder, and I have shade 215. Just like a classic packaging. It kind of looks like MAC Studio Fix powder, literally. Okay, I'm gonna be taking this number 4 brush. Oh wow, that actually looks really good. Let me just say that this powder looks so good. It's so smoothing, and I'm really surprised because I'm so used to using translucent powder that I feel like pressed powder just doesn't look that good underneath my eyes anymore, but that looks flawless. So I'm gonna go in with the number 3 brush. I used this for foundation earlier and I really don't love it. I feel like this is just more so like a packer powder brush, so I'm gonna use this to set the rest of my face. This brush is a little stiff, but I think it's really good for really packing on powder in specific areas. Okay, next up I have their Studio Pro Shade and Define 10 color contour palette. They all seem to be very warm, so I think if you don't like warm tone shades, you're not gonna like this palette at all. I'm actually probably just gonna bronze the skin. So I'm gonna start with these 3 colors and I'm just gonna mix them. And I'm gonna use the number 2 brush. This looks really, really good. It's nice and tapered. Look at that pigment. This brush is perfect for bronzing the skin. It just really diffuses the product very nicely. I'm gonna go back into the number 6 brush. I kind of just spot cleaned it a little bit, and I'm gonna take the same shades just to kind of really concentrate that bronzer. Okay, next up for blush and highlighter, I'm gonna go in with their Blushing in Bali 6 color and highlighter palette. I did just dip my finger into some of them when I first got this palette, and I'm super impressed. So I actually ordered this on their website and I didn't realize that I ordered it, and I also got it when I was at Ulta, so I'm gonna use the other one as part of a giveaway, but yeah, it looks really, really pretty. So I'm gonna go in with these 2 shades right here. Oh, just kidding, blush first. I'm gonna take the shade Litchi and Coral, mixing the 2. I'm using an e.l.f. stippling brush. Oh, look at that wash of color. So pretty. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna go in to the shade Glisten and Sunkissed. This palette is amazing. Oh my goodness. Super soft and buttery and very, very intense on the skin. And the blushes are fabulous. I'm going to use that blush brush that I was using just to blend everything together. I'm gonna go ahead and set my face really quick. I usually like to set like twice. I don't know, I feel like it really makes the makeup last longer. So I'm gonna use their Studio Pro makeup setting spray. And this is what it looks like. This is a really good size actually. All right, so now we can finish up the lower lashes, and what I'm gonna do is just go back into Avi, the same eyeshadow palette, and I'm gonna actually take the shade Dream and Icy, and I'm gonna mix the two and really build that up in the inner corner of my eyes. Also gonna be spraying my brush. Ooh, that is so pretty. I love it. It's really, really vibrant, especially once you spray your brush. And then I'm gonna take the shade Icy and I'm gonna pop that just on the brow bone just by itself. It literally is like an icy white shade, and I love colors like this for the brow bone. Then I'm gonna be taking a little bit of the shade Bittersweet, and I'm gonna be pressing that down right on the lower lash line. I'm gonna use a definer brush. This one's from Sigma. It's their flat definer, 815. I'm gonna take my Sigma E25 blending brush once again. This doesn't have any additional product on it, it just has the product from earlier. And I'm just gonna blend that out. Then I'm gonna go in with their Studio Pro gel liner. This one is in shade Onyx. And I'm actually gonna use this to line my waterline. I'm just gonna use a little tiny eyeliner brush. Okay, now for lips, I am gonna start off with their lip liner. This one is in the shade Stripped. These are their waterproof lip pencils. I'm pretty sure that I have used these before. I don't know if they changed the formula since then, but from what I can remember, really, really nice formula. I just filled them in a little bit because I feel like when you fill in your lips with lip liner, it just makes the lip color last longer. Then for liquid lipstick, I have to do a nude, you guys, because this look is so bold that I really want the eyes to be the star of the show. So I'm gonna go in with their liquid lipstick, and this one is in the shade Martha. Oh, this is a little too pink. It's still pretty. It's very, like, very baby pink. Okay, I'm gonna top that off with the shade Karen because I felt like this is just a little too pinky for me. So I'm just gonna layer that. This is a little bit more of like a coral shade. This is a little too pink too, but. All right guys, so this is the completed makeup look. I will say that I like almost everything that I used, probably like what, 95, 97% of the products. So the only two things that I really wasn't a huge fan of was first this beauty sponge. I just feel like it's a little too rough on the skin. It's not very bouncy and it absorbs a lot of the foundation. Then also I wasn't a huge fan of this Duo brow pencil only because I don't love the brow definer side. But other than that, I love everything else. The eyeshadow palette is absolutely incredible. I definitely want to recreate more looks using it because I think it's very versatile. I love the foundation, the concealer, the powder, the bronzer, the blush, the highlight. Literally, I love everything else. The lip product obviously is not my cup of tea just because of the shade, but the formula does feel really nice so far. I have tried their liquid lipsticks before and they weren't bad. The brow product, surprisingly, like the other pencil that I did use and the brow powder, I really liked it. And I'm a brow pomade kind of girl, but that was good. So yeah, right now it is like the middle of the day, afternoonish. So what I'm gonna do is just come back in a few hours, do a check-in, let you guys know how everything is wearing, and we'll see what my final thoughts are. But so far, I'm very, very impressed, and I'm giving most of these products a double thumbs up. So I will see you guys in just a few. Hey guys, I'm back. So it has been several hours since I last checked in with you guys, and this is what the makeup is looking like. Let me just say, oh wait, let me just say I have something in my tooth. So my face is pretty shiny, but I will say that it doesn't feel super oily and greasy. It actually feels still very comfortable, but I obviously definitely need to blot. I have not touched up my makeup at all. The only thing is my lip color did fade earlier. So I was vlogging today and I kind of talked about that, how I didn't really love the liquid lipsticks because I just felt like they were a little too drying after they settled, and you did get like that butthole lip. So like it just faded really, really really nasty and ugly, and I wasn't a fan of it. So I feel like if I were to use the liquid lipsticks again, I would probably definitely add a lipstick over top just to make it last longer, or a gloss. So it's not a huge deal because they aren't super expensive. So yeah, on my lips, I do not have on the liquid lipstick. I added just a different lipstick over top because it just felt very uncomfortable. As for my foundation, I do feel like it oxidized a little bit. Nothing crazy, but you can kind of definitely see the contrast, especially when I was outside in natural light. So just something also to keep in mind. I mean, obviously I mixed 2 shades that are like totally off, so that could also be the case, but just in general, I feel like it did get a little darker. I still think the foundation looks really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and just blot my skin, and I'm just gonna be using my Palladio rice paper blotting sheets. These are my favorite. You can find these at Sally's Beauty Supply. I'm gonna just take this and pretty much just blot everywhere, but the main oil spot was definitely my forehead. But I'm gonna just blot my T-zone. And then I'm gonna add a little bit more powder, and I'm gonna use the same powder from earlier, which is their matte finish powder. I feel like I started getting oily probably 3 or 4 hours into wearing the foundation. So I mean, the foundation itself was like a satiny finish. The powder is matte, but I don't feel like it holds up for a super long time just because the foundation really wasn't meant to be matte anyways. I just kind of press all this into the skin. And I feel like that already looks like so much better. So I feel like that was really nothing that a blotting paper and blotting powder can't fix. It was super easy. It took less than a minute, and I think it looks a lot better now. I feel like if I can find my perfect shade in this foundation, I would love it so much more, but I definitely still really like the way that it looks. I don't think that it looks bad. Oh, and I wanted to mention, because I did get a couple comments before in other makeup tutorials and stuff that I do where you guys want to see how the makeup looks without the studio lights, outside in natural light, and I did take a clip on my vlogging camera of it. Now, one of you guys actually told me that I use a filter in my videos. I do not use any type of filter in my videos. On the camera that I am using, my vlogging camera, it has like a natural filter on there. It sort of looks like I have like an airbrush filter on, but that's not me adding the filter on. That's just the camera itself. But when you zoom in, the filter suddenly goes away. So that is what I did. I just zoomed all the way in so you guys could really see my skin in natural daylight. I was in my car, no filter on it, no edits, nothing. That is what my skin looks like outside. So I do not purposely add a filter to anything. So just a little FYI. The only filters that I do myself are on Instagram. So there's that. So yeah, that is what it looks like. Obviously my skin isn't perfect, but I still like the way the foundation looked. I mean, obviously in this clip you can see that my skin was pretty oily. I definitely needed to blot, but I think it still looks good. And the bronzer, blush, highlight is still on. The shadow is still in place. For the most part, the liner on my waterline is still intact. I feel like I need to touch up a little bit like around the edges right here, but that is still in place. The brows are still on. I'm really impressed so far, to be honest. So my first impressions in my reviews still really stand the same from earlier. So I honestly really love everything. Some standout products for me are definitely, for sure, this eyeshadow palette. I think this is beautiful. Look out for more looks. This Blushing in Bali palette is incredible. I think this is such good quality. It's just so good. It's definitely worth $16. I mean, you can't really beat it. You get a mirror, you get 6 different shades in here, and this is stunning. The concealer is incredible. I love how full coverage it is, and I really just feel like it's super beautiful. I didn't notice any excess creasing underneath my eyes. I mean, obviously I'm human. I don't have any under eye filler or anything, so like my under eyes are not perfectly smooth, but the concealer did a really good job. So this I love. I also really love this BH Studio Pro contour palette. The shades in here are really warm and beautiful, and they are just blended out so nicely into the skin. So this I really was enjoying, and I can't wait to keep using that. As for the primer and setting spray, these are 2 products that I definitely have to keep using, and then I'll keep you guys posted on them. But so far, I mean, they were nice, but I'll have to use them at least a couple more times to really give you guys my reviews on them and see how they wear. I don't remember if I used this specific primer before, but I really liked it. The foundation I really liked. I feel like this foundation would be really nice maybe with a good mattifying primer. So like my favorite like e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer would be really great with this, and like a mattifying setting spray like maybe the Milani Make It Last. I think that would be a really good combo with this, and I think it would last a lot longer as far as like me having to touch up and everything. I would say for sure still I don't love the sponge. Like I said earlier, the liquid lipsticks, you just have to kind of work with them a little bit, add a gloss or something over top just so that they don't feel well as drying, but that's really not a huge deal breaker for me. I also really did love this powder. I thought that was super beautiful on the skin. These makeup brushes are incredible. I didn't use every single one of them, but the ones that I did use are awesome. They're super nice quality. The handles, the bristles, everything about them, they're definitely worth trying. So if you need some good makeup brushes in your life, check out BH. But yeah, I also really did like this gel liner. I feel like this is super long wearing and it's very black and creamy. It doesn't irritate my waterline, so this is freaking amazing. All right guys, so that completes this full face of BH Cosmetics. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. All in all, I'm super impressed with this brand. I think they are so amazing, really great quality, and definitely worth giving a try. Only thing I will say, just a little fair warning, their shipping does take a little while. I mean, I guess it depends on where you live. This stuff is shipping out from Hollywood, California, and I live all the way in Pennsylvania, so that's probably why it did take almost 2 weeks for my stuff to get here. So if you are in my area, that's the only thing. It is gonna take a little bit long for your order to get here, but it's totally worth the wait because these products were amazing and I'm super impressed. I would definitely order again from their website, and I can't wait to keep using these products in upcoming videos. So yeah, I hope that this was helpful. If you guys are looking into splurging on their website, let me know your go-to products from BH down below in the comments, and look out for lots more one brand tutorials coming soon. My next one is most likely going to be Shop Miss A because that has been super requested, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for everything. I love you all. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel before you leave, and I will see you in a few days in my next one. Bye.